We are in Bethanien House, which is this amazing building where the Smash program Berlin happens every year. It's a program on training on experimental movement and performance, and it happens roughly every summer for 3 months. Yeah, so we started with Smash 4 years ago, and it started all from my colleague Claudia Dietrich. She wanted to create art education based on movement research, and at the time I was really traveling a lot. Berlin was only a base, and I really felt a desire to establish myself more here. So I accepted their invitation, and from there on it became just the space where I could fantasize or imagine the art movement program of my dreams, let's say. Something that I would have liked to join myself. So that's a little bit how it came, and then it started to have its own dynamic. I definitely think that such a program as Smash Berlin could have happened only in this city, in Berlin. As at the moment it can offer some kind of fertile ground for this kind of experiment to happen. And sometimes I fantasize, could we have done the same program or share the same program in Paris or Rome or London? And then I really think it probably wouldn't have worked for a number of reasons. And some of the most important that support the program to keep going is that Berlin has been now famous worldwide to be a quite cheap city to live in with a lot of culture. So people want to at least try to come for a few months. And then there is the mentality factor, that it's just a very open city, very tolerant and welcoming for genuine experimentation, which it's something that I have encountered in very few other big cities that I know. There are different development happening after people have been in the Smash program. Most of the people who apply for Smash, they're coming to Berlin for the first time. So I think and some of them they stay in the city to try maybe living and working here, and I think this brings a lot of fresh motivation. It's some kind of little engine, and of course it's not the only one in the city, but I think it contributes to circulation of new ideas. Also now we are having people pre-applying from completely different cultural backgrounds, nationalities. So I think this is an important factor. And then more specifically, some of the people who have done Smash, they then pass on to apply for the bachelor or the master in dance. So then of course the sum of their Smash experience, it's translating into the higher education. So this is more on the practical level, how it affects the city or the dance life in the city. Yeah, there are a few. I guess the main poignant would be the economical one, because there is always a negotiation necessity that we face to keep the prices affordable for people, and at the same time to sustain a structure of paying space, paying teacher, paying advertisement. So this has been one of the main obstacles or concern that we are constantly trying to find solution or to be creative about it. Then there is another hot topic in Berlin, which is the space. We don't have our own space. There was a time where we asked ourselves, do we want to take a space of our own? And then we decided that it would have multiplied the amount of work in our lives too much. It wasn't sustainable as an option. And so we are still renting out spaces. The Bethanien is one of the spaces, and of course there's always this uncertainty of relying on somebody else's space. And I guess these are more the structural difficulties. Yeah, and then there is also a difficulty, which is on the other side also the interest of the program from my side, which is to keep somehow having a feeling or mapping the scene or the flow of artists in and out of Berlin that I could relate to and then invite them to then teach in the next program. I can think of two layers of the differences that can exist between a short and a long program. One is the emotional one. You could say Smash, it's a love affair, and as in every love affair, you can entitle or allow yourself to give all the passion because you know that it's gonna end. So you have this sensation of time passing in a more present way, and therefore it can enhance, it can help you to dive into this intensity and to enjoy it. In a longer term program, there is a boredom factor, there is all your other frustration from life or difficulties that come in a longer, more insistent way. The other factor, which I'm personally very busy with, it has to do whether it is an official program that provides an official diploma, and therefore it's based on no matter how you take it or you rearrange it, but on a power relationship of credits and evaluation, the students being evaluated, and versus a program like Smash, which is based entirely on the motivation to be there every day. So I think it's one of the factors that we present to the participants from the very first day. There are no rules about being there or not being there. There is just a strong request on transparency. So to communicate and to be assertive with the group. If you are not there because you broke a leg, or because you're bored, or because you want to go for a trip, just tell the group and nobody will come after you. And I think this, I always observe a few weeks of like rearrangement in people's mind, like there is still some kind of, I mean, I don't want to sound too arrogant in this, but there is always a little bit of hierarchical relationship to any education. We all bring it in ourselves from school time, from the elementary school. So I think there is always a few weeks where people realize, okay, it's really up to me whether I want to be there every day. And once this happens, this like ownership of the daily reason why they come to the classes, then there is a strong power that becomes a group energy. This is more on the emotional level. Like all these new official courses that has been created in Berlin last 10 years, maybe less. They have been creating for the purpose of meeting a demand of building professional choreographers. And with this, which of course has a sense, but with this trying to integrate the dance scene of Berlin more into the market, it comes also a lot of pressure for the artists. So what I observe on a personal level, that a lot of young choreographers that has been fluctuating in and out of the city, they have been coming more and more with the sense of pressure of delivering, like with the performance anxiety. Like they do a course, and then what after? I'm supposed to apply, and if I don't get the money, am I a loser? Am I a winner? Or what's my place? Should I leave Berlin? And I think this it's a recently new factor in Berlin. Berlin has become what it is, like this culturally very open city, because people were allowed to be naive in here. They were allowed to just do art because they felt like doing art, and maybe drop it the day after. That's the magic. That's the core of the magic. That's still, I don't know if it's still there, but still people talk about it. And now, of course, with more educational structures and more funding structures, which are still not enough, but yet they're there, the competition has started to kick in. And I noticed that, and sometimes I receive the critic from, like a benign critic from some of the ex-participants of Smash, like they say, Smash, there's too much love in Smash, it's like a bubble, it's not like real life. And I hear that, and I question that, and I wonder, okay, how can I integrate this information into the development of the program? But on the other side, I also see Smash as some kind of experimentation of a possible society, because within the program, no credits and so on, the level of competition, it's very, very low. It's more, all the time enhance the level of cooperation between the participants. the newcomers in Berlin who are then approaching the profession of choreographers are mostly between 20 and 30 years average, and I think this is probably a span of time where one is more sensitive to the need of belonging to a community, or to belong in a community of a certain way. I think maybe then, from 30 to 40 to 50, it becomes more relevant one-to-one connection, or I'm generalizing, probably it applies to me, that's what is happening to me, or it's more relevant, what are you really interested in, what are your artistic obsessions. So it doesn't really matter if you can feel your belonging, it's more matters if you have a deep artistic exchange with colleagues and you can have a trustworthy network. I go for every other day. I'm positive and negative. I have swings. I feel somehow negative, pessimistic about the huge flow of money that has arrived to the city since a couple of years, and of course this altered in a very significant way the dynamics of the city, and it will keep going like this, possibly faster. On the other side, I think Berlin is one of the metropoles in the world where so new initiatives like grassroots are happening, like for new system of community, of sharing, of shared economy and so on. So there is a huge potential, and I think it still polarizes the arrival of people which share that kind of philosophy or dream about a possible different way of living. So it's I guess there's never like a positive or negative. It will be, we don't know how it's gonna be. Berlin, it's part of a much bigger scenario which is getting more and more complicated, so I think it will be up how this potential and fantastic impulses that happen in the city, how they will be able to go outside Berlin. That's always the risk of Berlin, to stay a bubble. That they say Berlin's a bubble. It is in a way, but it's also like a place that then a lot of people who are in Berlin, they leave, they go back to their countries, and they bring a piece of the of these dynamics that they experienced here. So I guess when I think I'm optimistic, I feel naive, and when I feel pessimistic, I feel nihilist. So I think I just don't think about it and try to do the thing that I do in the best way, and try to always feel if I still want to be in Berlin. What are the topics that the producing houses are financing? And this is very clear. Like there are waves and there are fashions, and they decide. And according to this, I think people also tend to readjust. They have to. It's a necessity of survival. So in the 90s there was a wave of naked pieces. If you would make a naked piece, it would be in. Then it became unfashionable, and this was not belonging from the community of people who were working with the body. It was just something that the producer would say, sorry, we cannot show your piece, it's naked, we are not interested anymore. So I think now this gender identity, it's a hot topic, and I think it's very important that it is. It's time that it's addressed. It's extremely important. But then on the other side I think, okay, but we are on the verge of an ecological disaster, and we have to address all the important issues right now. We have to address the human rights of everybody to be happy to express themselves. We have to address what are we doing with the system of waste and all the other things.